Good evening, I'm Robert Lawson with NUCAT News right here in New Ulm. In local news, Beck of Sleepy Eye faces multiple charges of sexual misconduct with a child, alleging long-term abuse starting at the age of 7, investigated by the Brown County Sheriff's Office. Sleepy Eye City Council reviews safety improvements for the Highway 14 and County Road 10 intersection, planning enhanced signage, road markings, and potential traffic signals in collaboration with the Minnesota Department of Transportation. In state news, a Minnesota woman faces up to 30 years for possessing methamphetamine-laced bong water, prompting discussions on state drug laws and sentencing reform. An audit finds a Minnesota state agency is lacking oversight of federal funds with recommendations for better management. Minnesota Vikings announced their 2024 training camp schedule at TCO Performance Center in Eagan, with public practices starting July 27th with ticket availability next week. In national news, the Supreme Court upholds the FDA approval of mifepristone for abortion, seen as a victory for reproductive rights advocates amid ongoing legal challenges. The DOJ will release a report on civil rights violations by Phoenix police. Potential reforms and federal oversight is anticipated. Russia deploys warships to Cuba, seen as a strategic warning to the Biden administration on Russian naval capabilities. Finally, in world headlines, Hezbollah launches rockets and drones at Israel, prompting military responses and international monitoring. A report criticizes the global response to humanitarian crises in Gaza, Sudan, Ukraine, and Burkina Faso, calling for urgent improvements. A fistfight erupts in Italian parliament over regional power debate, reflecting deep political divisions. Protests in Argentina against Senate reforms proposed by President Javier Milei are sparking concerns over democratic processes. Here's your local news. The New Ulm City Council approved the city's new comprehensive plan and heard a presentation from Bolton and Mink on an introduction and overview of the plan.
In terms of the timeline, we started in May, so we just started. We are planning to be done in the fall, so we are right now where the star is, and we are doing that initial community engagement to bring back to this board what we're hearing initially.
The New Ulm Economic Development Authority adopted the public housing operating budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. The EDA also approved a resolution to transfer $260,000 from the Garden Terrace Fund to the EDA Fund.
So the public housing operating budget covers day-to-day operations of our 50 public housing units. 40 of those units are at Broadway House Apartments. And then we have 10 scattered site family unit rental houses.
A new barbershop is open in town and it's abuzz with customers. Ed's Chop Shop opened on South Broadway in New Ulm. It's founded by experienced barber Ed Zimmerman. The shop features a contemporary design and caters to a diverse clientele. They have services ranging from traditional haircuts to modern styles and beard trims. The grand opening saw community members welcome the new business. They aim to provide top-notch grooming services in a comfortable and stylish setting. Zimmerman expressed his excitement about contributing to the local business community and providing a destination for men's grooming needs.
I'm doing something I finally like to do, so it's like I'm open probably close to 60 hours a week, and I prefer this over 12 hours a day at a warehouse any day. So.
A Sleepy Eye man has been charged with multiple counts of criminal sexual conduct involving a child. Jason Beck, age 39, is accused of committing sexual acts with a minor over several years. According to the Brown County court documents, charges include allegations of multiple incidents starting when the child was just 7 years old. Beck was taken into custody following an investigation by the Brown County Sheriff's Office. His case will proceed in Brown County and District Court, where he faces significant legal consequences if convicted. The Sleepy Eye City Council reviewed a safety report concerning the intersection of Highway 14 and County Road 10. The evaluation focused on addressing the frequent accidents there at the intersection, and recommendations included the installation of better signage, improved road markings, and possibly a traffic signal. The council plans to collaborate with MnDOT to implement these measures and enhance driver safety. In state news, a woman faces a possible 30-year prison sentence in Minnesota for possessing bong water laced with methamphetamine. The case has stirred debate over the state's stringent drug laws. Prosecutors highlighted the methamphetamine-laced water was evidence as drug possession, while critics argue the sentence is disproportionately harsh for what they see as a minor drug offense. This has prompted discussions on possible reform to Minnesota's drug sentencing policies. An audit revealed significant lapses in how a Minnesota state agency managed federal funds. The Office of the Legislative Auditor found inadequate monitoring of subrecipients and noncompliance with federal requirements. The oversight has raised concerns about the potential mismanagement of millions of federal dollars. The audit recommends several measures to the agency's oversight and ensure proper use of funds after the scandal involving the Feeding Our Future organization in Minnesota. The Minnesota Vikings have announced their 2024 training camp scheduled at the TCO Performance Center in Eagan. Public practices will start on July 27th. They'll feature opportunities for fans to meet players and get autographs and enjoy various activities as well. Tickets for the training camp will be available next week with special packages for dedicated fans. The event provides a chance for fans to engage with the team ahead of the upcoming season. Former President Donald Trump is preparing a return to Washington, D.C. to strategize for a potential second term. Trump plans to meet with advisors and allies to refine his policies and campaign strategy for the 2024 presidential campaign. His efforts to return to the Capitol underscore his ongoing influence with the Republican Party and his commitment to pursuing the presidency once again. Moving on to world headlines, Hezbollah bombards Israel with rockets and drones. The assault has heightened tensions in the region, causing casualties and substantial damage there. Israeli defense forces have responded with countermeasures. However, the international community is closely monitoring the evolving situation. A new report highlights a severe neglect in the delivery of humanitarian aid in crisis-hit regions like Gaza, Sudan, Ukraine, and Burkina Faso. The study criticizes the global response to those emergencies, pointing out several critical shortages and inefficiencies in aid distribution. The report calls for immediate action to address these issues and improve the effectiveness of humanitarian efforts in those areas. A fistfight erupts in Italian parliament as tensions rise over expanding regional powers. A physical altercation broke out in Italian parliament during a heated debate on expanding regional power, while the clash highlights the intense political division over the proposed decentralization of authority. Critics argue that changes could undermine the national unity of the country and create governance challenges. The incident reflects the broader tensions within Italy's political landscape as the government attempts significant reforms. Protests erupt in Argentina as Milei's Senate proposals face a backlash. Protests have erupted in Argentina against President Javier Milei's controversial Senate reforms. The proposed changes aim to reduce the size of the Senate and alter its legislative powers. Critics argue these reforms threaten democratic processes and could centralize excessive power in the executive branch. Demonstrations are calling for the government to reconsider these proposals. That's your local, national, and world headlines. From the NUCAT studio in New Ulm, I'm Robert Lawson.